Carl Jung left us an invaluable legacy by showing us how to explore the deepest corners of our minds to overcome life's most complex challenges. One of the greatest emotional struggles we face is how to let go of someone who, despite having left our lives, continues to occupy a constant space in our minds. How can we release someone who seems to have become a persistent shadow in our consciousness? This is a deeply human question, and Jung offers us key insights to understand and heal. The reason why someone remains in your mind is not necessarily due to love or attachment, but because that person has become a symbol of something much deeper. Perhaps they represent an unhealed wound, a fear, an insecurity, or even a part of yourself that you have repressed. According to Jung, the unconscious uses symbols to communicate with us. The people we struggle to let go of are in reality mirrors reflecting unresolved aspects of our psyche. When you think about that person, what emotions arise? Is it sadness, anger, nostalgia, or a mixture of everything? These emotions are messages from your unconscious. It's not just about the other person, but about what they trigger within you. Instead of trying to suppress these feelings, Jung would invite you to explore them. What story is your mind trying to tell you? Ignoring these signals only prolongs suffering, while facing them with honesty can be the first step toward liberation. The process of letting go begins with accepting that this person is not meant to have a permanent place in your life, but accepting this is not an act of resignation. It is an act of profound self-love. Many times we hold on to someone in our minds because we cling to an idea of what could have been. We torment ourselves with endless what-ifs and create imaginary scenarios that will never materialize. This attachment to the past prevents us from embracing the present and envisioning a different future. Jung teaches us that the unconscious acts as a silent companion on our journey, showing us what we need to confront in order to grow. If that person remains present in your mind, ask yourself, what lesson do I need to learn from this experience? What part of me needs healing or transformation? These are not easy questions to answer, but they are essential for moving forward. We often get trapped in obsessive thought patterns because we resist facing the shadows these people reveal within us. The shadow, as Jung defined it, consists of those parts of our personality that we prefer not to see, the aspects of ourselves that we have repressed because we believe they are unacceptable. But the more we ignore our shadow, the more control it has over our lives. The person occupying your mind may be a constant reminder of a shadow you need to integrate. When you begin working with your shadow, something powerful happens. You stop projecting your fears and insecurities onto others. Instead of blaming that person for how you feel, you start taking responsibility for your own emotions. This is a liberating act because it restores the power you had given away to that relationship. The path to liberation also requires self-compassion. Do not punish yourself for feeling this way. Recognize that you are in a healing process and that every emotion has a purpose. Instead of fighting against your feelings, accept them as a natural part of your human experience. This approach not only alleviates pain, but also opens a door to a deeper understanding of yourself. Jung believed that the path to wholeness is not about eliminating pain, but about integrating it. By accepting pain as a necessary part of your experience, you uncover its purpose. Every emotion has something to teach you, and every person who leaves a mark on your life is a teacher, even if their lesson is difficult to accept. Integrating your shadow not only transforms your relationship with yourself, but also with the world around you. When you stop projecting your wounds onto others, you begin to see people as they truly are, not as a mere reflection of your own fears or desires. This shift in perspective is powerful because it allows you to connect with others from a place of authenticity rather than from a need for validation or control. It is important to understand that letting go of someone does not mean forgetting what they meant to you. Relationships, even those that come to an end, are part of your story. However, you can honor those memories without allowing them to define you. Jung would say that the past holds value not as an anchor that keeps you stuck, but as a beacon that illuminates a path toward your evolution. One of the most transformative tools that Jung left us is the practice of introspection. Dedicate time to sitting in silence with yourself and reflecting on what that person represents in your life. What emotion do they evoke? What recurring patterns do you notice? This exercise is not easy, but it will help you understand the roots of your attachment and provide you with clarity to move forward. Liberation is not a linear process. There will be days when you feel like you have moved on, and others when emotions resurface with intensity. This is normal. Jung reminds us that personal growth does not happen instantly, but rather in layers. Each time you confront your emotions, you are healing a deeper part of yourself. Moreover, it is crucial to surround yourself with an environment that supports your healing process. The people with whom you spend your time have a significant impact on your energy and well-being. Jung believed that our relationships are a reflection of our internal state. If you constantly surround yourself with individuals who demotivate you, it will be much harder to move forward. Instead, seek connections that inspire you, remind you of your worth, and encourage you to keep growing. The process of letting go also involves redefining your identity. Many times we tie our sense of self to a relationship, believing that without them, we are incomplete. But Jung teaches us that true wholeness does not come from external sources. It comes from our connection with ourselves. When you reconnect with yourself, you realize that you do not need anyone else to feel complete. Ask yourself, who am I outside of this relationship? What dreams, passions, and talents have I neglected while focusing on this person? Allow yourself to rediscover them. You may find that the version of yourself that emerges after this process is stronger, wiser, and more authentic than ever before. As you reconnect with yourself, you begin to notice a shift in your energy. That emotional burden you were carrying starts to dissipate, and in its place arises a sense of lightness and clarity. This is the power of letting go. It not only frees you from the weight of the past, but also opens you up to new possibilities. Jung once said that life is not about avoiding suffering, but about finding meaning in every experience. And when you find that meaning, you transform your pain into wisdom. In this process, it is essential to cultivate practices that strengthen your internal connection. One powerful tool is writing. Take a moment to put your thoughts on paper. Writing without filters and allowing your emotions to flow freely. Another powerful practice is visualization. Imagine that you are letting go of this relationship as if it were a rope you've been tightly holding on to. In its place, visualize a radiant light filling the empty space, symbolizing your renewal. These exercises are not just symbolic. They have a real impact on your mind and your energy. It is also essential to be patient with yourself. The path to healing is not linear. Jung believed that the soul has its own rhythm of healing and forcing. The process only creates more resistance. Learning to trust time and your own ability to overcome this challenge is crucial. Once you begin to free yourself from attachment, something truly extraordinary happens. You start seeing life from a completely new perspective. Jung referred to this as a process of individuation, a journey toward becoming who you truly are, free from external influences that distort your essence. This is a profoundly liberating experience because it brings you back to yourself. You realize that you are enough, that you have always been enough, and that you do not need to cling to anyone to feel whole. At this stage, it is common to experience a mix of emotions. On one hand, there is joy and liberation, but on the other, there may be an unsettling sense of emptiness. However, this emptiness is not something to fear. It is a fertile space ready to be filled with new experiences, meaningful connections, and fresh dreams. Jung believed that emptiness is a prelude to creativity, so instead of resisting it, use it as an opportunity to reinvent yourself. One of the greatest gifts this process will give you is the ability to connect with others from a place of authenticity. You will no longer feel the need to seek validation or to hide parts of yourself just to be accepted. This not only transforms your relationships, but also allows you to attract people who are truly aligned with you. When you present yourself to the world as you truly are, the universe responds by bringing you connections and opportunities that resonate with your truth. When you begin to live from your authenticity, you realize something deeply transformative. You no longer need to hold on to the past to define your worth. Jung believed that much of our suffering comes from identifying with what we have lost rather than with what we can create. This shift in perspective allows you to take control of your life and focus on what is yet to come. The key to overcoming someone who still lingers in your mind is not in forgetting them, but in integrating what they represented into your growth. Every relationship you have had serves a purpose in your life. Jung teaches us that these interactions act as mirrors, reflecting aspects of our own psyche that we have yet to explore. When you understand this, you transform pain into growth, and what once seemed like a loss turns into an opportunity for expansion. A crucial part of this process is recognizing the expectations you place on that person. Often, attachment is not really about the person themselves, but about what they represented in your life. But the truth, as Jung emphasized, is that everything you seek outside of yourself already exists within you. That emptiness you were trying to fill with another person is nothing more than a disconnection from yourself. Reconnecting with yourself requires courage and a willingness to look inward. When you confront the shadows you try to avoid, you realize that they are not your enemies. They are teachers showing you what needs healing and guiding you toward a deeper understanding of who you truly are. One effective way to face your shadows is through self-observation. Pay close attention to your thoughts and emotions, especially those that arise in the presence of that particular person. What recurring themes appear? By observing without judgment, you begin to unravel the patterns that have kept you trapped. Another powerful approach is practicing forgiveness, not only toward the other person but also toward yourself. As you move forward on this journey, it is also essential to establish new emotional boundaries. This does not mean becoming cold or distant, but rather learning to protect your energy. When you allow someone to live in your mind constantly, you are giving away your power. Reclaiming that power requires consciously deciding where to focus. Your attention and energy. The process of letting go is not a final destination, but an ongoing journey. Every step you take toward healing brings you closer to your true essence. Jung emphasized that personal growth cannot occur while you remain trapped in a constant struggle with the past. Letting go does not mean erasing what was, but rather integrating those experiences as essential chapters of your story, allowing them to strengthen you rather than limit you. A crucial aspect of this process is learning to listen to your intuition. Jung described intuition as a direct connection to the unconscious, an internal guide that is always available to lead you toward what is best for you. When you allow yourself to listen, you will notice that your intuition does not pull you toward the past, but propels you forward. This trust is fundamental because many times we cling to what is familiar out of fear of the unknown. But Jung reminds us that true growth only happens when we dare to face the uncertain with courage. The power of this approach lies in its ability to transform not only your perspective, but also your reality. According to Jung, what we experience in the external world is a direct reflection of our internal world. If you're trapped in patterns of pain, those emotions will likely manifest in your relationships. But by working on your inner self, you begin to notice a tangible shift in what you attract and how you feel. This change is not just emotional, it is energetic. Every time you choose to free yourself from an attachment, you are making space for something new in your life. This is the essence of synchronicity. When you are aligned with yourself, the universe responds in unexpected ways, bringing into your life people and experiences that reflect your new vibration. At this stage, you feel a renewed sense of purpose. You no longer define yourself by what you have lost, but by what you are building. A crucial aspect of this process is surrounding yourself with a supportive community. Jung believed that while inner work is personal, healthy relationships are fundamental to our well-being. Seek out people who share your values and inspire you. Finally, remember that letting go does not mean you will never think about that person again. Memories may resurface, and that's okay. What matters is how you choose to respond to them. Instead of letting them pull you back into the past, use them as reminders of how far you have come and the strength you have gained. As you continue on this path of self-discovery and liberation, you will realize that every step forward not only brings you closer to your authentic self, but also inspires those around you. Carl Jung said that when one person transforms, everything around them changes. This process is not just a gift to yourself, but also to the people in your life. By facing your shadows, releasing attachments, and embracing your authenticity, you become a living example of what it means to truly live. Now I invite you to reflect on what we have shared. What steps are you willing to take today to begin freeing that person from your mind? What dreams, goals, or projects have you put on hold that you are now ready to pursue? Your transformation begins with a decision, and that decision is in your hands. If this message resonated with you, I invite you to be part of this growing community. Share this video with someone who needs it, someone struggling to let go, or who needs to be reminded of their own power. Leave your thoughts in the comments. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss future messages like this. Remember, your power to change your reality is always within you.